In today's morning rounds, the FDA just approved the first device to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. We first told you yesterday about the breakthrough that will be marketed as a treatment for children who are 7 to 12 years old. And now in a clinical trial, kids got low-level electrical pulses while they slept. The results were similar to the effect of non-stimulant drug treatment. An estimated 6.1 million children have been diagnosed with ADHD in the U.S., according to a national survey of children's health in 2016. Our Dr. Tara Narula is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Norah.
So how does this work?
The device is basically a new treatment that's non-drug related, which is great for a lot of parents who don't want to put their kids on medication. And so it's the size of a cell phone, and basically it has a wire that attaches to a patch that's placed on the child's forehead. They wear it at night while they're sleeping for about 8 hours. It's meant for kids who are over the age of 7, not on medication. And essentially the way that it works is it emits a low-level electrical pulse that essentially stimulates a cranial nerve called the trigeminal nerve. And the idea is that that nerve then sends signals into the brain, particularly to the areas that are important for attention, for functioning and behavior. And the idea is that it can help symptoms. And they did see in this small study of about 60 kids over 4 weeks, it did reduce symptoms. It seems to be on par with the effects seen with non-stimulant medications.
So this is the area of the brain that's still developing, right? This is the executive function area of the brain?
Right.
Doesn't get fully cooked until about age 25. So what's the downside of? It feels like you're tinkering with a part of the brain that's developing.
Well, this is clearly the first of its kind, and I think probably we have a long way to go in terms of the research. But as far as this study, they did not see any serious adverse events. They did see side effects like drowsiness, increased appetite, some fatigue, headache, teeth clenching. But as I said, it was a small study, and it was over a short period of time. And we don't know what it would be like if kids were on medication when they use this.
How do you know the difference between a child that's a little rambunctious, a little distracted, a little hyper, and somebody that has ADHD?
I think there's a lot of confusion about what exactly this is. So
I've seen some kids, you go, oh, I think they got some issues there. They go, no, that's just their personality.
Right.
So you're not talking about Grace, Henry, and Riley.
Right.
No.
I was going to say.
Absolutely not. No.
A lot of the symptoms like daydreaming or fidgeting or really talking a lot could be misconstrued. But really, this is a chronic disorder. It affects about 10% of children. And it's characterized by 3 things: hyperactivity, impulsivity, and inattention. And the important thing is that it's pervasive. So you see it at school and at home. It persists for longer than 6 months.
And they can't control it?
And it affects function. That's really, if their function is limited academically, socially, emotionally, that's when you might, want your child to be seen and evaluated, and they may in fact have this. We know that 1/3 of these kids have other disorders like anxiety disorders or mood disorders. 1/3 will go on to carry the symptoms into adulthood. And the issue is that it really can be associated with things like increased risk of substance abuse, injuries, either accidental or intentional, poor self-esteem, poor academic performance. So important to identify it, really truly identify it, and get kids treated for it.
Once you have it, do you always have it?
Some people may outgrow it, and some people, as I said, it can persist into adulthood for sure. And there are treatments, we know for kids under 6, the recommendation is behavioral therapy. And this is really where we teach parents how to kind of reinforce positive behaviors and eliminate those ones that are negative. And also then medication in combination with behavioral therapy for kids over 6. The class of drugs we typically use are stimulants like Ritalin or Adderall. But important for this discussion, a lot of parents don't want to put their kids on these drugs because they have side effects too. Things like anorexia or poor growth or even cardiovascular side effects.
Yeah, not to pathologize it. There's help out there.
Yes.
Doctors want to help therapists. So
There's always check with your doctor.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Tara Narula. Always good to have you here.